I grew up in England and went to a school where the minority population was as follows. There was a boy named Savas. He was olive-skinned and came from Cyprus. There was Anne-Marie. She looked exactly like everyone else, but she was Catholic. And then there was me, the dark-skinned vegetarian other who smelled a little bit like curry all the time. So life at this school was not very easy, and often the not easy came around food and feeling like I belonged or not. So for example, when I first moved to this new school, I make my first new friend and I have my first play date, and we're at the house and my mom says, snack time, and we come over, we go to the dining room for snack time, and what my mom has done has actually made a multi-course Indian meal for us. There is dal and cauliflower and saffron rice and mango lassi, and I'm so proud of my mom. Until Michelle Jones sees the food and screams, "Oh God, it's all yellow! It's yellow! I can't eat yellow food!" And we actually have to call her mother to airlift her and rescue her from our house. So then I need a new friend. And I make friends with another girl. Her name is Deborah. And she tells me one day at school that her mom actually has 100 million different kinds of cookies in her house. I think that's amazing. So we decide that after school one day, I'm going to go over and have tea, because that's what you do as a school child in England. And we get to a house, and I'm thinking, out of 100 million, in like 30 minutes, I could probably do 1,000 cookies. And I'm really excited. We get to the door, and Mrs. Parfit opens the door, and she takes one look at me, and she looks at her daughter, and she says, "She can't come in, dear." And she shuts the door on my 7-year-old face. Then, of course, there's lunchtime. Lunchtime with Vicky Lane. Now, Vicky Lane brought a tuna fish sandwich to school every single day, and that's her choice. It's a free country. The thing is, though, she also must, every time she has a tuna fish sandwich, open the corner and like pass it around the table for everyone to have a good sniff. And I'm vegetarian, and that's like really bothering me, but I never say anything. I always would bring a plain cheese sandwich to school, but one day my mom made homemade samosas, and I had to bring one to school, right? So I take a bite, one bite, and Vicky Lane of Stinky Fish Sandwich, she says, "Nimisha, that's horrible. It smells terrible. You're going to have to move." And do you know what I do? I move and I eat my lunch by myself. So you can imagine my shock and thrill when finally there is one day and one moment in the day when that whole food and belonging stuff comes together, not as a curse, but as a gift. We are in all school assembly. That means everyone, the whole school is together. And Mrs. Erskine, our head mistress, is talking about some life lesson. And in the middle of it, she says, like magic, she says, "And boys and girls, last night I had chutney for the first time, and it was delicious." And I'm thinking, chutney? I know what chutney is. Chutney is an Indian condiment. And I'm like, the next thing she says, like, "Does anyone know what chutney is?" I'm like, I know what chutney is. And I raise my hand, and I'm so excited, and I'm feeling special and chosen and fantastic. And it's like slow motion, really. She's the one hand that's up. Yes. And I'm thinking of the chutney my mum made the night before, and I said, "Mrs. Erskine, chutney is made from garlic and chili pepper and tomatoes." And Mrs. Erskine looks at me and she says, "No, it's made from mango and sugar." Mrs. Erskine doesn't know that you can get all sorts of chutneys, and she does not ask. In that moment, it was like I had a balloon of all my hope and eagerness and enthusiasm up above my head, and Mrs. Erskine took a goddamn harpoon and just like shot it down in front of everyone. And I have looked back on that moment for many years, and I have wondered, what happened? That was supposed to be my best performance. And you know what? Maybe it was. It was the first time I ever spoke up, proud of being Indian, proud of being an immigrant, proud of my own mother's cooking. Now, you won't be surprised when I tell you that my mom and dad got tired of living in England, and they came to the one place they thought immigrants were welcome. They came right here to America. And I have been worried about what that means given what's happened in the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to tell you that I think their choice is still the right choice, and I will tell you why. Because I now have a 7-year-old daughter, and she goes to school. And at her school, they ask me to donate an Indian meal as a prize for the school fair. My kids go to a school where there are 107 different cultures and countries represented. And we have Cultural Heritage Night every year. And this year, my husband says to our 7-year-old daughter, "It's a lot of countries you have." And she says, "Yes, Daddy," and they all like each other. So this is a good country. It's a great place for a taco truck, a curry truck, a halal truck, a soul food truck, a noodle truck, a pasta truck. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting your favorite truck, but I think you know where I'm going with this. I welcome the old Chevy truck that's selling good old hot dogs with lemonade, because we are staying and we are in this together, and that is what makes America great.